Hi and welcome to my presentation. My name is Virginia Lethbridge. I'm a mother of 6 and I live in Sydney, New South Wales. I'd like to introduce you to my topic of interest, invasive species in Australia and the effects of fireweed on the east coast of Australia's environment. As I only have a few minutes, I'm not able to go into great depth. Nonetheless, I can give you a brief overview of this investigation. If you have any questions for me after listening to my presentation, you're able to send these to me via Trello and I'll try and answer these as best I can. The report will provide the answers to posed questions to include information of invasion, establishment, spread, and prevention of invasive species, fireweed. Introduced or invasive species are on the rise because of increased international trade, travel, and lack of education to the wider community. Despite the natural borders and biosecurity measures, Australia is still being invaded by alien species. The species Senecio madagascarensis fireweed has been declared a weed of national significance. This first emerged on Australian record in 1918. It is a flowering plant native to South Africa. There is a native species Senecio pinnatifolius that grows in the same areas of Australia, and this is fighting for survival. I've mainly used Google and Google Scholar as the main way of looking for the sources of this topic. I used Curtin Library and often it would send me back to Google Scholar. I've also used a great data collecting tool and it is great for synthesizing the literature to be used for the final report. It is called ReadCube. This has been helpful and can easily connect to the Curtin Library, so each article or journal can be read. It also stores the PDF and you're able to highlight the information that you might need later. I'm sure there's more it can do and I will learn more as I go. According to New South Wales Weedwise, fireweed establishes quickly and rapidly spreads. Look closely at this picture taken in my garden, and if you're familiar with the east coast of Australia, you would have seen this flower as a common weed in the garden. This is important for the individual resident to know. Fireweed is an invasive species that needs the general population to help with the control of this noxious weed. Education and eradication is the key to solving some of the invasion of this species. It is commonly found along the east coast of Australia, along roadsides, open country areas of bare soil, and overgrazed pasture or cultivated and disturbed land. The invasive fireweed will eventually wipe out the native species, according to research. This problem impacts the environment by the invaders changing habitats and endangering native species to extinction. More of this will be discussed in detail in the report. These questions will be looked at in further detail in the report. How does Australia manage the weed and the education, and what improvements could be made? What will Australia do to lessen the threat to sustain its biodiversity? Australians, you are the key to your sustainability. Our curriculum provides opportunities for the students to develop an awareness and understanding of the living things around them. In this investigation, we will look at how the Earth's surface changes when an invasive species grows as a result of human activity. Also, evidence is gathered to enable unbiased explanations and use that information to make predictions. The growth and survival of invasive species are affected by physical conditions of the environment. These are all closely linked with the content descriptors for the Australian curriculum from years 4 to 6. Thank you for listening to my presentation.